So the last episode was a gag video for drawing Thing from the Addams Family, and it reminds me that it's been a while since I've drawn America's other favorite family of fright, the Munsters, and today I decided to draw the Munsters equivalent to Thing, kind of, sort of in a way, maybe the lion is Kitty or whatever. Anyway, Munsters. So it's been quite a while since I last drew Herman Munster. The only Munster development I can mention that happened in between that time is Rob Zombie's movie for Netflix, and yeah, let's keep this video positive and just talk about the real Munsters instead. So the Munster show obviously is great, all of us monster kids love it, and even though there's like a lot of really great performers in the show, Fred Gwynne, Yvonne DiCarlo, Al Lewis, my favorite character is the one who isn't really performed by anybody except for, I guess, special effects technicians and puppeteers or whoever just happened to be operating the puppet at the time, and that is Spot. Spot's my favorite character, of course. I think anybody who's watched my videos and knows how much I love monsters and dinosaurs and kaiju will not be surprised that my favorite member of the Munsters family is the dragon that lives under the stairs. Now, some people might wonder, how can you draw a character who isn't ever really seen? Spot was mostly only alluded to and briefly seen in snippets, but honestly, you can kind of piece together what the pup looks like based on the clues. First of all, there's the not very good silhouette effect that they used for Spot pretty early on in the series, and you can tell that he has kind of a brontosaurus shape to him, thin on one end, much thicker in the middle, and thin again on the far end. There's also the various props that you see of him, mostly the tail. There's the very tip of the tail that's sometimes used like a hand when he plays chess, and then there's the big full-scale prop tail, which just kind of drags along. This is part of probably my all-time favorite gag on the Munsters, and that is when Herman has to reprimand Spot with a rolled-up newspaper, and he just says, "Naughty, naughty, naughty!" And he gives the tail a little tap, and of course Spot goes on a rampage and tears ass across town. The best view of Spot, and easily the best prop that's used to represent him, is of course the head underneath the stairs. The staircase opens up, Spot is just right there, and then immediately breathes fire. It's a recurring gag, but honestly, I never get tired of seeing it. You don't get to see a hell of a lot of Spot because the only thing that's really visible, except for when the fire lights up, are just his eyes and his teeth that glow in the dark. Of course, monster kids will probably recognize this face and know exactly where it came from. Those of you who watch my Lost World review know that I love old school dinosaur movies, and if you love old school dinosaur movies as much as I do, you're probably familiar with Universal's The Land Unknown. It doesn't get a hell of a lot of attention, but it's still a fun little dinosaur movie that I loved when I was a kid, and it's nice to revisit it from time to time. The special effects in that movie are kind of a mixed bag. There is the Slurposaurus monitor lizards that are supposed to be stegosaurs, I think. There's the pterosaur puppet on the string. There's the large-scale plesiosaurus model, that the puppet mock-up or whatever it is, that actually is a pretty good effect in and of itself. But the favorite creature of mine from that movie is the Tyrannosaurus. It has a very freaky-looking face with these dead eyes that just stare right into space, and it's actually pretty creepy. The body itself doesn't really match the quality or the proportions of it. Yeah, the Tyrannosaurus isn't really as well done as, say, something like Gorosaurus, but it's still better done than some other Tyrannosaur costumes you can mention, like in Unknown Island or the original 1 million BC. So this prop, of course, was in Universal's possession. I guess it was just sitting around in the storage vaults for a while, and then they decided to whip it out, give it a little flamethrower on the nose, and boom, you got Spot. It works very well. Drawing it again here, I've drawn Land Unknown before, not in one of these videos. I don't know if my patrons would ever vote for that or not, but getting to draw it here was a lot of fun, and getting to embellish it a little bit with the dragon-like textures that are implied by the tail and some of the other props that are seen. So let's all give this nice puppy a pat on the head, and I hope you're not wearing anything flammable. Good boy, Spot. Good boy.